know that it took 6 years for the first arrests to be made in Senzo Meyiwa's murder case. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. From police torture allegations to witch doctor consultations, this case is filled with shocking twists that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Picture this. It's October 26, 2014. Senzo Meyiwa, a rising star in South African football, is hanging out at his girlfriend Kelly Khumalo's house in Vosleros, Gauteng. The mood is relaxed, with friends and family around. But in an instant, everything changes. Gunshots ring out. Chaos erupts. When the dust settles, Senzo lies dead. The nation is stunned. How could this happen to one of their brightest sports stars? At first, it seems like a simple case of a robbery gone wrong. But as you soon see, nothing about this case is simple. The public demands answers. The police scramble to investigate. But little do they know, this is just the beginning of a mystery that will captivate and frustrate South Africa for years to come. As the nation reeled from Senzo Meyiwa's shocking death, attention quickly turned to his relationship with Kelly Khumalo. Their love story had captured the public's imagination, but now it was at the center of a tragic mystery. Senzo and Kelly were the epitome of a power couple in South Africa. He was a rising star in football, captaining both the national team and the Orlando Pirates. She was a famous singer with a powerful voice and a string of hits to her name. When they appeared together at events, cameras flashed and fans swooned. They seemed to have it all: talent, fame, and a love that looked picture perfect from the outside. But as we often see in these high-profile relationships, things weren't quite as rosy behind closed doors. There were whispers of tension and conflict between Senzo and Kelly. In fact, during court proceedings, Brigadier Bongani Ginenda dropped a bombshell. He revealed that Khumalo harbored intense animosity towards Meyiwa, stating it's clear that she hated him and wanted to get rid of him. This statement sent shockwaves through the courtroom and left many wondering what could have soured their relationship so dramatically. Of course, it's important to remember that relationships are complex, especially when lived under the harsh glare of the public eye. We may never know the full extent of their private struggles or what led to such apparent animosity. On the fateful night of October 26, 2014, Senzo wasn't alone with Kelly at her mother's home in Vosleros. The house was bustling with activity, filled with family and friends. Kelly's younger sister, Zandi Khumalo, was there with her boyfriend, Longwe Tyla. Kelly's mother, Ntombi Khumalo, was also present. Two of Senzo's friends, Ntokozisi Tyla and Tumelo Matlala, had joined the gathering. Even Kelly's children were there, her 4-year-old son Christian and Tingo, her daughter with Senzo. It seemed like a normal evening with loved ones. No one could have predicted the tragedy that was about to unfold. But as the night wore on, the presence of all these individuals would turn from a simple social gathering into a complex web of potential witnesses and suspects. In the aftermath of the shooting, investigators found themselves facing a daunting task. With so many people present, you'd think piecing together the events of that night would be straightforward. But as it turns out, nothing about this case would prove simple. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered some troubling details. After Senzo's murder, Kelly Khumalo failed to disclose crucial cell phone numbers to the police. These numbers, later unearthed by investigators, would lead to some startling discoveries. Cell phone analysis revealed connections between Kelly and two suspects, Ngube and Tuli. This raised eyebrows and fueled suspicions about her potential involvement in a broader conspiracy. But perhaps the most intriguing piece of evidence came in the form of a photograph. Investigators found that Kelly Khumalo's cell phone memory contained the same photo of a see-through bag filled with cash notes as suspect Ngube. This strange coincidence added another layer of mystery to an already complex case. As the investigation continued, what started as a tragic end to a high-profile romance began to look more and more like a carefully orchestrated plot. The question on everyone's mind was, how deep did this conspiracy go? And who was really behind Senzo Meyiwa's death? But as investigators dug deeper, they began to uncover a web of inconsistencies that would cast doubt on the simple explanation. The initial police theory was that two armed robbers had entered Kelly Khumalo's mother's house in Vosleros, demanding valuables. In the chaos that ensued, they claimed, Senzo was shot while trying to protect Kelly. It was a narrative that fit neatly into the public's understanding of crime in South Africa. On October 31st, 2014, just days after the shooting, the police made their first arrest. A 27-year-old Vosleros resident named Zamokuhle Mbata was taken into custody. The police were confident they had their man. After all, Mbata used to wash Meyiwa's car. It seemed like an open and shut case. As it turns out, the evidence against Mbata was flimsy at best. Within days, he was released due to insufficient evidence. This embarrassing misstep was just the first of many that would plague the investigation. But the real trouble began when investigators started looking closely at the witness statements. You'd think with so many people in the house that night, piecing together the events would be straightforward. Instead, the statements were a tangled mess of contradictions and inconsistencies. One of the most glaring issues came from Tumelo Matlala, one of Senzo's friends who was present that night. Later in the investigation, Matlala identified one of the accused, Bongani Ntanzi, as one of the gunmen. Now, if this was a random robbery, how could Matlala recognize one of the assailants? This revelation threw the entire robbery narrative into question. The plot thickened when investigators looked into the movements of the accused in the days following the murder. Bongani Ntanzi, now known as Accused 2, took 5 days of unpaid leave, starting the Monday after Meyiwa's death. This wasn't the behavior of someone who had stumbled into an unexpected robbery. It suggested premeditation and planning. But perhaps the most chilling discovery came when police arrested Ntobisi Ngube, now accused 3. Ngube was taken into custody in February 2015 in connection with the murder of a taxi boss. During a search of his house, ballistic experts found a firearm that they believe was used in Meyiwa's murder. This discovery blew the robbery theory wide open. If the same gun was used in multiple high-profile killings, could this have been a professional hit? As the investigation progressed, the initial robbery narrative began to crumble. Brigadier Bongani Gininda, the lead investigator, dropped a bombshell in court. He claimed that Meyiwa was actually the victim of a contract killing. This statement directly contradicted the original robbery theory. To add another layer of intrigue to this already complex case, several witnesses who helped police construct identities of the suspects met untimely ends. Thabang Makeleni was poisoned, while Simpiwe Ngwenya was shot dead. These mysterious deaths only fueled speculation about a larger conspiracy at play. What had started as a seemingly straightforward investigation into a botched robbery had transformed into something far more sinister. With each new revelation, the case became more convoluted, leaving investigators and the public alike wondering what really happened that night in Vosleros. But who would want Senzo Meyiwa dead, and why? These questions sent shockwaves through South Africa, leaving fans and investigators alike scrambling for answers. This wasn't just a random act of violence, it was a carefully planned assassination. Of course, a hitman doesn't work alone. Someone had to be pulling the strings, and that's where things get really interesting. In October 2020, 6 years after Meyiwa's death, the police finally made some arrests. 5 suspects were taken into custody. Muzika Khulelwa, Sibia, Bongani Ntanzi, Mtobisi Prince Ngube, Ntokoziseni Mapisa, and Fisokuhle Nkani Ntuli. But these arrests only deepened the mystery surrounding the case. You might think that having suspects in custody would clear things up. But in fact, it only raised more questions. Who hired these men? What was their motive? And how did they connect to Senzo Meyiwa's life? The plot thickened when cell phone analysis revealed some unexpected connections. 2 of the suspects, Ngube and Tuli, were found to have links to none other than Kelly Khumalo, Meyiwa's girlfriend at the time of his death. As Brigadier Gininda put it, there is no reasonable explanation as to why Kelly will be in contact telephonically with a hitman or killers of a boyfriend and share the same picture of a bag full of money. This revelation cast a dark shadow over Kelly Khumalo. Could she have been involved in her boyfriend's death? The police seemed to think so. They claimed that Khumalo harbored intense animosity towards Meyiwa, with cell phone records allegedly indicating her desire to eliminate him dating back to 2013. But the story doesn't end there. In a bizarre twist, it was revealed that after Meyiwa's death, Khumalo reportedly sought cleansing from a witch doctor. Strangely enough, this step was mirrored by the accused individuals. Was this a coincidence or something more sinister? But what could have driven Kelly to such extremes, if indeed she was involved? In the world of true crime, things aren't as they seem. The question remains, is Kelly Khumalo a calculating criminal or just another victim, caught in a web of circumstances and suspicion? The case took a dark turn when allegations of police torture and misconduct emerged. You heard that right. The very people tasked with solving the crime were now under scrutiny themselves. 2 of the accused, Muzika Khulelwa, Sibia, and Bongani Tanzi, claimed they were subjected to horrific treatment by the police. Sibia said he was tortured, tubed, and assaulted, while Tanzi also stated he had been tortured. Now, these aren't just empty accusations. They raise serious questions about the reliability of any confessions obtained under such circumstances. You might think that in a high-profile case like this, the crime scene would be handled with the utmost care and precision. Well, think again. It turns out the police made a mess of things from the get-go. One officer admitted they didn't secure the scene properly. Can you believe it? Judge Mokokoatleng didn't mince words when he criticized the police for this poor handling. It's like they were playing detective in a B-grade movie rather than investigating a real crime. With the investigation seemingly in shambles, enter AfriForum, an Afrikaner lobby group, and the renowned advocate Gary Nell. In 2019, they decided to take matters into their own hands. Nell, known for his role in high-profile cases, was brought in to assist the Meyiwa family in their quest for justice. Now, you might think having a hotshot lawyer like Nell on the case would clear things up, but in true fashion, for this twisty tale, it only added more layers to the mystery. In 2022, Nell dropped a bombshell. He stated he was convinced the police had the right people, but, and here's the kicker, he suggested that more individuals could have been involved. Brigadier Pilani Ndlovu, one of the first officers on the scene, died under suspicious circumstances. The 5-man currently on trial for Meyiwa's murder, Muzika Okhulelwa Sibiya, Bongani Tanzi, Mtobisi Prince Mncube, Mtokoziseni Mapisa, and Fisokuhle Nkani Ntuli, have all pleaded not guilty to the charges. Now, you might think this is standard procedure for accused individuals, but their pleas raise some serious questions. If these men aren't responsible, who is? As the years have ticked by since that fateful night in 2014, the Senzo Meyiwa case has left an indelible mark on South African society. You see, what started as a shocking tragedy has morphed into something far more complex, a symbol of the nation's struggle with crime, corruption, and justice. The case has become a national obsession, dominating headlines and dinner table conversations alike. It's not just about a murdered football star anymore. It's about trust in the police, faith in the justice system, and the power of celebrity in South African culture. Of course, the quest for justice continues. The Meyiwa family, supported by AfriForum and advocate Gary Nell, refuse to give up. They're determined to uncover the truth, no matter how long it takes or how ugly it might be. But here's the thing, with each passing year, the chances of solving this case seem to grow slimmer. Witnesses' memories fade, evidence degrades, and the trail grows colder. It's a race against time, and the clock is ticking.